Hey everyone, it's Lynette, and this is my Taylor Swift Reputation book tag. So this tag was created by Sarah over at Sarahsbookshleves, and I will link her original video down below. So the first song on the album Reputation is called Ready For It, and the question that goes along with it is, what 2018 new release are you most ready for? For me, this has to be Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. You guys know I'm obsessed with the Illuminae series. I loved Illuminae. I love the second one, which is Gemina. So I have high hopes for Obsidio, and I hope it just blows my mind. The second song on the album is called Endgame, and the question that goes along with this is, what is a couple that should have been Endgame or should not have been Endgame? For this, I picked Mare and Maven from The Red Queen. I liked them together initially, but I'm not going to spoil anything about Red Queen, but as it goes on, you find out that they probably shouldn't be together for obvious reasons. But I really did like them together at first, and I really had high hopes for that ship. The third song on the album is called I Did Something Bad, and the question that goes along with it is, what was a character decision that was a terrible decision, but that you loved reading anyway? For me, this has to be in the ACOTAR series, and I can't remember if it was the third or second book. Second? Anyway, it was when Feyre decided to act like she was under Rhysand's mind games and not like they were mates, and go to Springcourt and infiltrate it from the inside. I loved that. I loved reading it, but, in hindsight, it ended up being not such a good decision because, it weakened the Springcourt for the war, but I wanted her to go and kick Tamlin's butt. I wanted everybody in his court to absolutely hate him. So I loved that she was playing this super secret spy agent Feyre and going undercover and acting like she was still in love with him when really she was just trying to explode everything from the inside out. The fourth song on the album Reputation is called Don't Blame Me, and the question that goes along with it is, what is a book or a series that you are shamelessly addicted to? For me, this is Pretty Little Liars, but only the first 8 books, because the other 4 or 5 after that, I don't know how many there are altogether, but the other ones after book 8 were complete garbage. They should not have been written. It completely ruined the series for me. I really enjoyed the first 8. I read through one of those guys a night. It was a quick read. It was a fun read. It was a fun mystery, but stop at book 8. Do not read 9 through 16 or whatever ridiculous number it went to. The fifth song on the album is called Delicate, and the question that goes along with it is, what is a book that has a bad reputation but that you enjoyed anyway? I think for me, this is the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. A lot of people didn't like it because I think they couldn't wrap their mind around some of the plot points. But if you just read it as strictly fiction and something fun and kind of making, a twist on history and art, I think it is a really interesting read, and I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the movies. The Da Vinci Code is the only one I've read. I haven't read the other ones in this series, but I highly enjoyed the Da Vinci Code, and I would like to finish the series because it was really good. The sixth song on the album is called Look What You Made Me Do, and the question that goes along with it is, what is a book or a series that BookTube made you read or recommended for you to read? For me, this is anything by Sarah J. Maas. You guys recommended ACOTAR and Throne of Glass and those 2 series, and I am loving both of them. I just finished the ACOTAR series last month. You can watch my review on all 3 books that I'll link down below. Right now, I'm on the 2nd book of the Throne of Glass series, and I am just as in love with it as I was with ACOTAR. So thank you, BookTube, for recommending Sarah J. Maas. She is now one of my all-time favorite authors. I will continue to read anything that she puts out and writes. I am completely obsessed with her now. The song number 7 is called So It Goes, and the question that goes with it is, what is a book that you can't remember anything about? And I hate to say this because it is my sister's all-time favorite book, but I can't remember really anything about To Kill a Mockingbird. I think I had to read it for school, and I really, really did enjoy it, but I can't remember anything apart from a few of the characters' names about that book. And I don't know why, because my sister loves it. She goes on and on about how great it is. She even has a dog named Scout. So I don't know why I can't remember anything about that book. Maybe I should reread it because she loves it so much. So, but I can't remember anything about it. I'm sorry, Catherine. Song number 8 is called Gorgeous, and the question that goes along with it, what is a book with a gorgeous writing style? Again, I love the way Sarah J. Maas writes. I thought her writing was delicious. I loved how descriptive it was. I loved just everything about it. It was just so yum. And I don't know that I have anything to compare it to. I just really found her writing style to be really beautiful, and I cannot wait to read more things from her. Number 9 on the album is called Getaway Car. It's one of my favorite songs on the album, so you should listen to it right away. But the question that goes along with it is, what is your favorite love triangle? I'm going to be a little bit weird here. I'm going to pick a weird one. What is it? 3 Dark Crowns or the second one, One Dark Throne? Either one of those. Catherine, the Poisoner Queen. She has this relationship with this guy named Peter, which I really enjoy their relationship together. Even though I do think it's unhealthy, it is fun to read, if that makes any sense at all. But their suitor comes along because the queens have these king consorts that come and, court them. So I can't remember his name, but he just seems so evil, and they kind of balance each other out. And I just love the tension between her and the suitor and Peter. And Peter and him just always butt heads. I ended up not liking the suitor in the end, but when he was courting Catherine and that tension, and I really enjoyed reading that. So I know that's a weird love triangle, maybe not one that you would think of right away, but that was really enjoyable to read. I really liked that. Number 10 is called King of My Heart, and the question that goes with it is, what is the character that is king of your heart, or what is your all-time favorite character? I have a lot of favorite characters, but my favorite has to be Severus Snape. I love him. I was so obsessed with him. Like, before the 7th one came out and you didn't know whether or not he was good or evil, I read this book, and I can't for the life of me think of what it was called now. I can think of the cover. It was like a split cover, and on one side it was like, is Severus Snape evil? And then on the other side it was like, or is Severus Snape good? And it was like just all the theories. And I love reading theories. I'm like such a nerd when it comes to like TV show theories or book theories. I'm on all the theory boards for like everything. But this was like just a complete book about theories about whether or not Snape was bad or whether or not Snape was good. So it really kept me interested. I mean, not that I wouldn't have been interested, but it really whet my palate, and it held me over until the 7th book came out, reading this theories book in between the 6th and 7th book. But Severus Snape, all-time favorite character. In the 7th book, the Snape chapter where Harry finally puts his memories in the Pensieve and he learns about Snape's life and sees his memories and finally learns if he's good or bad. That, for me, that was the best chapter in any book that I could have ever read. I was sobbing my eyes out reading it, and it was great writing. That was good. I enjoyed that. That's the best chapter probably in any book. So for me, that chapter just hands down made Snape my favorite character. Number 11 is called Dancing with Our Hands Tied. Again, another great song on that album, one of my favorites. And the question that goes with it is, what was a book that started out good, but then turned out not so good in the end? If you have read my blog, novelsandhops.wordpress.com, you know that I don't tend to give books bad reviews, and if I do, I don't tend to review them. You can go on my Goodreads account. There are books on there that I've given 1 star to and 2 stars to, but I don't tend to waste my time reviewing them, just because I think there's so many good books out there that I want to review that I want to save my energy for them. So I don't tend to talk about books that I don't like. But for me, this one was They All Fall Down. It started out great, and the cover is why I bought it. It seemed like another Pretty Little Liar type of mystery, something really fun to read like in the summer, like a really quick beachy read. But it got really weird really quick. I don't know what happened in that book, but it got weird. And I think I only gave it like 2 or 3 stars on Goodreads, which if you get on my blog and you read about my ratings and what I consider, 1 star to be, 2 star to be, 3, etc., you know that 3 stars for me is not a great review. So I don't know. It got weird. That's all I can say about it. I don't want to ruin it for you if you want to read it. It just got really weird. It had a weird ending. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did you guys read that? What do you think about the ending? Let's talk about it. Song number 12 is called Dress. This is probably my favorite song on the album. I love this song. I play it on repeat in my car over and over and over again. But the question that goes along with the song Dress is, what is a new adult book that you loved? I am actually new to the genre new adult. I can't really think of too many that I've read, but if I had to pick my favorite, again, I think it has to be ACOTAR. And I didn't know that there was going to be, some intimate scenes in this book. So that kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't mad at it. I didn't hate it. I just didn't know it was that type of book. But I think that was probably the best new adult book that I've read so far, is definitely ACOTAR. Song number 13 is called This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. And this question is, what is a book or a series that made you want to break everything that you own, either out of anger or frustration or just general feelings in general? For me, this is the book Gone Girl. I love that book. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. I love that book. It's one of the only adult fiction books that I've ever read. I don't typically read adult fiction, but Gone Girl was really, really, it was really good, but that doesn't even begin to describe it. I felt like I had to shower after I read that book. Do you ever just feel grungy after reading a book? And it's not because it's bad. It's just because it's so dark and twisted and kind of mental. And you're just like, oh, I just feel grungy. I need to take a shower. But it's told in a dual narrative between the wife. Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. The wife and the husband. And it's told through journal entries and things like that. But you don't know who the bad guy is. At first you're rooting for the husband and you're kind of on his side and you don't like the wife. And then you're on the wife's side and you're like, oh, the husband's kind of a creep. And then in the end, you're like, I don't know which one's worse. I don't know which one I hate more. So it just kind of takes you on this roller coaster of emotions, and it just makes you want to break everything out of frustration, because just when you think you have it figured out, you don't. And the ending is just, it's so great. So if you haven't read Gone Girl, you should read that and watch the movie. I love the movie too. Number 14 is called Call It What You Want. And this is, the question is, what's a book that you would call something else? I couldn't think of one for this. If I could call a book something different, what would I call it? I don't know. I can't think of any book that I would rename. So I don't know. I'm going to have to draw a blank on that one, guys. And finally, song number 14 is called New Year's Day, which is appropriate because that was yesterday, wasn't it? Anyway, the question that goes along with it is, what was a book that you finished, but it stuck with you the next day, the next week, the next month? It just stuck with you. I was going to say Gone Girl for this, and then I said it for another one, so I'm going to pick something else. But Probably the Walking Dead comics. If you have read the comics, I mean, the show is great, and I watched the show, and the show is really dark as well. I mean, it's pretty dark for a TV show. They get into a lot of heavy stuff, but the comics are dark. I mean, dark. That's another one where it's just like you need to shower when you finish up one of those comics. I love them though. I breeze right through them, and I really like and enjoy reading them, but they really do stick with you. Especially there was one I read years ago now when it like first came out, and I still think about it. I still have kind of like nightmares about it. It was like that scary. So that's kind of a series that kind of it sticks with you for a while. You don't tend to forget much about it. So that is it for my Reputation book tag. Thank you so much for watching, and I tag all of you who have the CD Reputation and who absolutely love Taylor Swift like me. So I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.